Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have with us Irina Shehovsov. She is the founder of Reclaim Your Life, transformational coach, international best-selling author, NLP trainer, and we learned from her powerful insights on healing emotional wounds, rebuilding self-worth, and awakening feminine energy after years of people pleasing, how to stop living for others and stop reclaiming your voice, purpose, and happiness from within. Welcome to the show, Irina.
Thank you so much, Ajay. Great to be here.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Irina. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about reclaiming life after toxic relationships, how to rebuild life after that. We'll talk about all this. But before that, let's understand a bit about your journey, your background, your story, so that people know who they are listening to.
Sure. My story started, I became a single parent of a newborn and a 5-year-old out of the blue, and I was living in misery for about a year. I was waiting for somebody to come rescue me, but of course nobody did. And so I decided to rescue myself. I decided that we didn't come here to suffer, that I came here to be happy. And I embarked on this journey, this quest on how to find happiness. And what I've discovered throughout my journey, that it is not found outside of me, it is all inside of me. And it's all inside of everyone if they choose to look for it. And I created a framework of 12 steps on how to get there.
Absolutely. So I want to understand from you, is that whatever the reason for not getting along with your partner, but in terms of, you talk about, women especially, they feel lost in a situation like that. Help us understand what is this feeling lost about. Means earlier also, whenever they are in a relationship, they are living a life, but then why suddenly it is women who feel lost? Or is it only women and not men? Or men also do feel lost after any relationship goes the other way?
Yeah. Someone can become lost if they swept things under the rug, if they didn't listen to the warning bells that we all have that inner voice. And whenever two people come into relationship, they're coming from different backgrounds, they have different set of values and routines. And oftentimes what happens throughout the years, you get to enmesh and be like the other person, and you forget who you truly are. So in my situation, what happened, I was this quiet, good girl that, never raised her voice, always was compliant and quiet and wanted to keep peace. But for what? For the sake of what? Keeping peace. And so as a result, I lost myself in the process. I didn't know who I was any longer. After the labels of wife and mom were removed, well, I'm still a mom, but who am I? I no longer knew. Through the years of being together with another person and kind of doing things how the other person wanted and not really following in my own thing, I managed to lose myself. Because when you care for others, when you please others in different regards, and you don't fulfill yourself, when you don't fill your own cup, you get to lose yourself. A year around, you might turn around, look at the situation, and you're going to ask, how did I allow this to happen? Well, because when the warning bells came ringing, you said nothing. And every time we show other people how we like to be treated. So if we stay silent, is a message to the other person that it is okay.
Absolutely. And you say that you are not lost, you are awakening. And that you can, especially after 40 plus. What does it mean? And how does one do that? Especially at that period, people, want to enjoy the fruits of all the effort that they have put in life, in relationships. But if something goes the other way, how do they look at this whole aspect to awakening part? Help us understand from those people who have to go through such a thing.
Yes. I believe we are holistic beings and we operate in physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual spaces simultaneously. And it is up to us to create the habits that allow us to thrive. There are no bad habits. Every habit is a good habit because it produces a certain kind of result. And if we don't like the result, we must change the habit. So, on the journey of coming back to yourself, I believe we gotta create habits that allow us to thrive. Creating great habits in physical space, in emotional, and mental, and spiritual. And it's sometimes trivial things we take for granted. Something like gratitude. When you're in a chaos, when you're in the middle of a difficult situation, all you see is bad, all you see is negative. But what if you shift your focus and you start appreciating things that are already working in your life? Because then you can refocus your mind and suddenly realize there are more things that are working in your favor and you've been taking them for granted. In my personal scenario, I used to take walking for granted until I dislocated my knee. And this happened 4 years ago, and a day hasn't gone by that I didn't say thank you, my niece, for walking. It might sound silly, but it is those little things that are already working, are already present, that we gotta appreciate, because we have this beautiful body that we came here to have an amazing experience, and we gotta create that for ourselves by practicing different things like that.
Absolutely, absolutely, Irina. So let's look at it. All the things that you talk about and talk also about other things. Let's look at it differently. In bad relationships, there is this thing called rescue. People get stuck and they wait for the rescue. And in your case, you said nobody is going to come and rescue you. So you decided to rescue yourself. Then there is this whole part about, that even if it happens, then there is this whole part about identity, reclaiming your identity, looking at your self-worth, and then you also look at the healing part of it, and then you get started towards rebuilding your life. How does one get started with so many things to tackle from? What comes first? How did you tackle it yourself? How do you teach people, especially women, to do it for themselves?
Yes. So first step is awareness and taking personal responsibility for your life. And I'm not talking about blaming yourself for what happened, but having the courage to hold the pen and write what comes next. Because that awareness piece is so key. It is very, very important. Sometimes we like to repeat or be stuck in that cycle of negative things. What could have been, what I could have said. So first thing is to realize that you're at the point that of no return. You are so low down, and you from that point you can only go back up, but you gotta want it for yourself. You gotta want and be willing to change. And once you do that, once you have the awareness that the life however you're living is not working, I gotta do something different. That's where I come in. That's where I can help you. For my personal journey, it started simply by me taking a walk for myself in the morning, 30 minutes, just stepping over the threshold of my home and taking that first step. That was the journey back home to myself. And physical space, because it's something so real and something we can see and touch, and you can relate to that. That's how my journey started, with physical health. And it's not like that I was in a bad health, but once you start taking care of yourself, you finally find out that you are worth it. You are worth that effort. Because every moment we get to create, whether we want to spend it being healthy, or whether later in life we're going to be spending time getting sick. So taking care of your health, start paying attention at how you're living, what you are doing, asking yourself why, not like why is life so difficult, but what can I do different? What is life here to teach me? What is the lesson? And then taking that with that newfound knowledge, make a different decision next time. And then I teach different kind of practices for mindset, for well-being. I'm a great believer in hobbies, because in hobbies we can realize who we truly are when we do something that sets our soul on fire. Because for many years, how do you lose yourself? If you didn't fulfill yourself, if you didn't do the things that allowed you to thrive, what kind of life are you creating? So I recommend to people to spend 10 minutes of joy every day. Do something that sets your soul on fire. Put that your battery inside yourself, and you can then approach each morning, each day with different mindset.
Absolutely. So, Irina, while they are in a relationship, whether not so good or very good, should they also start preparing for the time when it will not be good? Then it is almost like manifesting the bad times. How should women look at it from that point of view?
No, I'm not recommending or hoping for bad times. When you are in a relationship, you must kindle it, like a fire. If you don't kindle the fire will die. So when you are in a relationship and you want to maintain that level of relationship, you gotta see each other every day as new. What kind of thing what is the first thing you fall in love with? And every morning, look at your partner with different set of eyes. Don't bring the troubles of yesterday into today. Anything good requires work. And I'm not saying hard work, but it is daily maintenance. So if you are in a relationship and you want to continue to be in that relationship, you must work together to reconcile, to understand what the other person is feeling. There are different ways of how we show up. There is a great book called 5 Love Languages. And sometimes how you love could be different how your spouse loves and how they expect it to receive. So for example, somebody might have words of appreciation, and this is for them, like they like it, they like when they are being called nice things. But maybe their spouse is a different person. Maybe they like acts of kindness when they get gifts. So learning kind of this aspect about one another. What does make each person unique? What do they bring into the relationship? And then doing it for themselves. One great practice could be, in the end of the day, or before you set intentions for the new day, what kind of act of kindness can I do towards my person, from both sides? And then doing things together. Don't drift apart. Find something that you do together if you like to maintain your relationship. Because I don't promote divorce or separation, by no means. If you are in a relationship and you like to maintain it, keep it alive. Just like I said, you got to kindle the fire. You got to do the things that both of you like, but you also got to have your own thing. You also got to do thing for yourself so that you can refill, they can show up better for yourself, first of all, and also for your partner.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, in terms of support, people are afraid of taking that big leap. They think I do not have any support. What would you suggest, women about seeking support? Where should they look at some form of support in their in their whole path towards reclaiming their life and identity and self-worth?
Come to me. Go to my YouTube channel called Happiness Academy, where I provide a lot of free resources on different habit formations, how to be free from victimhood, how to practice forgiveness and gratitude, and the power of habits. I also have meditations on there. So there are a lot of free resources. I also have published 7 books, and my latest one is called The Gift Inside, 12 Steps on How to Find Your Happy, Healing Unworthiness, Brokenness, and Victim Mentality. And here I go into a deep dive of the 12 habits that allow you to live, to thrive in physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual space. It's a roadmap to get better. And then come to me. I can help.
Absolutely, absolutely. Though I'm sure a lot of people must be coming to you, and a lot of people will come to you. And also about good, you mentioned about the Happiness Academy on YouTube. You talked about self-awareness also. Should women also during these times also think that actually they could be the problem and not the other person? Is it them? For how do they evaluate this part? Many a times self introspect and self awareness is not there, because it's going to, whatever the case may be, it's going to impact their future, even their healing. They might be living under some wrong notions. Friends must be telling you are the best person ever born in the universe, and you will again walk towards the path of doom. Help us understand from that angle.
Of course. I quote, we always operate with with the resources we have available at the time. So who we were one time, because we change every 6 months, we change, our beliefs change, our values change, we change on the trajectory. And you're saying, like, maybe you are the one causing the problem. When you take responsibility for your life, it means you are accepting all the outcomes you've created, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the ugly and the bad might sound like harsh, but every decision, because when we show up in a life, it's not another person. Yes, sometimes, like, there are bad people and they do bad things, but you are also there. You are allowing things to happen, and the decisions, the thoughts you thought, the words you spoke, the things you felt, that is what creates your reality every single day. If you want to change your reality, you want to change your outcome, you got to start with how you think, because this is where everything begins, with our thoughts and our feelings. Because there is no past, there is no future. Everything is happening right here, right now. That's how our mind operates. So when you bring a negative event of the past in your mind makes it real. Because for your mind, it doesn't matter if something is imagined or if it's real, because everything is right here, right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when do people who have in bad relationships know that they have healed? Should they get into another relationship first and then heal, or first heal and then look at another relationship?
I believe they should heal first, spend time with themselves, find out what they are, find out, because otherwise you'll get a different person. It might look different, but inside it will be the same issues. It will be a different mask, but the same underlying things behind it. So spend time with yourself, understand who you are first, fall in love with yourself first, and then you can be loved by others. Understand who you are.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's much to learn about all this from you, Irina, and I'm sure a lot of women, especially, would want to connect with you, learn more about your coaching, about your this reclaiming your life transformational coach thing, and also about your Happiness Academy, and also the several books, especially the latest one that you have written. What is the best way for them to do so?
So my website is irinashehovsov.com. My Instagram is rea.claimyourlife. I also have 2 podcasts. One is to support single parents. It's called Single Parent Success Stories. And the second one is called Reclaim Your Life with Irina. The whole idea for the podcast is to bring back hope to single parents. And the second one is to bring hope, no matter in what kind of situation you're in, you can always come out of it. And I'm sharing the tools, tips, and techniques on how to get out.
Absolutely, absolutely. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.